Last video for this module before you hop into creating your own maps in Lab 5, some GIS Potpourri. Potpourri is, of course, the Jeopardy category where they take leftover questions from all the categories they didn't use. Why put a good question or a good answer, I guess? Yeah, they're answers, right? You have to respond in the form of a question. So anyway, Jeopardy, leftover Jeopardy stuff. So this is GIS Potpourri, leftover GIS stuff from Lab 4, mostly. Talking about dissolve. In Lab 4, you learn about dissolve as a function, as a piece of the buffer tool, which turns your buffers into one big unified shape. We like a unified shape. Well, dissolve is its own tool as well. You can run it just on its own if you want to. And what dissolve does is it takes either as part of the buffer tool or on its own, it takes all of the things that you've made and it either lets you keep all of the individual pieces. So if you have 100 roads and you run a buffer and you have dissolve none, you're going to get 100 buffers out of it. Or you can use dissolve and dissolve all of them together. You have 100 roads, you run buffer, and you have one road out of it. Or you can dissolve by a list, which means you take some of the fields in the attribute table and you decide to dissolve on those. So maybe you want to unify all the roads that have the same name, but you want different road names, different road name buffers, all dissolved together. Well, dissolve is its own standalone tool as well. So you could dissolve stuff if you want to without running a buffer. In this case, we've got some faults, some fault lines behind us. Look at all those faults. In this case, we see tons of overlapping buffers here. We're trying to look for, say, distance from a fault. And kind of messy, kind of difficult to see. If we choose to dissolve those buffers instead, we get one unified shape. So we miss out on the overlaps. It's a cleaner output, but the shape is unified all together. Now, having overlapping buffer zones, having overlapping things in your attribute table could be good, could be bad, depends on what you're going to do with it. Dissolve. Flip and erase were also tools that we looked at in Lab 4. Remember to think about them like a cookie cutter. Who doesn't love cookies? Flip is the inside of the shape. So if you've got your dough all laid out, clip, running the clip tool gives you what is inside of the cookie and keeps that information. If you run erase, you get what's left after you take the cookie away. So clip and erase, both very functional, very useful tools, but they give you different data in the end. Don't forget, if you run it wrong, if you run it backwards, doesn't matter. Delete the file that you made. Your original data is safe and run it again. You can do something called an intersect, which is basically the best of both. Well, best maybe isn't the right term. Intersect lets you do both and gives you an output that contains both the attributes of your shape and the attributes of your initial data set. Puts both of those together. Intersects can be useful when you want to agglomerate data and have more information about a whole data set. So in this case, we're looking at the state of Massachusetts and all of the major roads in the state of Massachusetts. That is in red. We have the town of Amherst selected. That is in light blue. If we want to know just the length of all the major roads in Amherst, we could do something like a clip. Clip would be easy. Clip out Amherst, calculate the distance. Easy, no problem. But if we want to know the length of all the major roads in all of the Massachusetts towns, that's like 351 clips. That's too much. Even automating this would be too much. Instead, we might want a different processing flow, which allows us to retain both the data inside of the town's information here and the data in the roads file. And that's where we'd run an intersect. So here's all those major roads. Here's the attribute table, all these different roads here. After we run an intersect, oh wait, there's the towns. There's all the towns. So major roads, towns, squish them together. If I keep flipping back and forth, they'll squish together eventually, right? Towns, major roads, towns, major roads. Squish them together. Intersected table. Now, every road, here's a bunch of ramps, has town information associated with it. We have more intersections, more road features than we started with. But we can do cool stuff like this. Now we've symbolized all the roads by town. So intersect is a great way to combine feature attributes from two different layers. Gives us more information, more details. Is a little duplicative? Maybe. We've essentially appended a bunch of extra information to all of this road data. But maybe that's the way you want to do it. Maybe that's what makes the most sense for you. And GIS is nothing if not making it the most sense for you.